Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2730, One Firepower, Supremacy 1. On the main battlefield, the well-prepared Huashu army easily gained the upper hand. After all, this battle was launched hastily by the four major races. But Zhang Yi had already been preparing before heading to space. If we consider the number of people as none, the advantage lies in the number. This is unacceptable. Watching his own army fall like grass, the Titan leader, Nelki, trembled violently, and his weapon nearly fell to the ground. How could the level of civilization in Huashu Kingdom have improved to this extent in just 3 years? This kind of power coverage density, this kind of power utilization efficiency, even our race at its peak couldn't achieve this. This is a completely reasonable dimensional reduction attack. The Celestial clan leader, Ming, had lost his haughty elegance. The feathers on his back were charred black, bearing the marks left by an antimatter cannon. Because the Sky Clan's battlefield was closest to Sky Sea City, they also endured the fierce bombardment from Sky Sea Fortress and Dreamer. By this time, he roughly understood why the combined forces of the 5 fleets had failed to defeat Zhang Yi. We've been deceived. That chaos. Did he bring back all the resources of the entire planet? He possesses a technological gap that we can't comprehend. Calm down. What's the panic? The leader of the Ironclad clan's electronic eyes flashed red. He was a mechanically modified being, possessing the most composed calculation core. After analyzing the trajectory of the data, we have found a flaw. The voice that appeared was cold and mechanical. This level of power output could absolutely not be achieved using Earth's resources. The source of all this power points to Tianhai City, to that chaos. He controls the entire defense and attack system. That Tower of Origin is his core. The Ironclad clan, a war-loving race, quickly discovered the crux of the problem. Everything changed starting with Zhang Yi's return, and the massive Tower of Origin's reaction was truly terrifying. No one else in Huashu Kingdom can control this system. Just kill him, and this so-called kaleidoscope of death will lose its brain and collapse on its own. A decapitation strike? A fierce glint flashed in Randall's single eye, and his fangs clenched with a grinding sound. That's right. This is the only chance to turn things around. Just kill him, and the Huashu Kingdom will fall apart. Gathering the elite forces of the headquarters. At all costs, launch a surprise attack on Tianhai City. Even if it costs us our lives, we'll fill that chaos to death. With this insane order issued, chaos quickly broke out in the fleets of the 4 major races. The main warships that were originally preparing to retreat stopped, and dozens of specially modified elite assault ships were separated from them. These warships are large in size but extremely fast, and their surfaces are covered with the most advanced defensive materials of each race. They were equipped with several Knight-level and Bishop-level powerhouses from the 4 major races, abandoning their heavy-duty forces and maximizing engine power. For the continuation of the race. Kill. Target. Tianhai City. Take Chaos's head. Boom. Dozens of warships, like a pack of desperate mad dogs, spewed long trails of flame from their sterns, transforming into dozens of streaks of light that tore through the air as they hurtled towards Tianhai City. The skies above Tianhai City. Zhang Yi stared at the dozens of reds rapidly approaching on the radar, without even lifting his eyelids. He maintained the posture of his arms hanging naturally at his sides, his expression so indifferent it was frightening. Finally getting desperate? Trying to pull off a decapitation strike. Zhang Yi shook his head, a mocking smile playing on his lips. Unfortunately, you chose the wrong side and the wrong battlefield. In Tianhai City, Zhang Yi is a god. Even if the White Dragon Prince came, he would still be afraid. Although he hesitated to use the power of faith, he could indeed borrow the power from the White Emperor's battle armor. Moreover, this place also boasts the most powerful and comprehensive weapon system. He tilted his head slightly and calmly gave the order into the communicator. Combustible. I'm here, boss. Luke Heron's excited voice came through the communication channel, accompanied by the crisp clack-clack sound of a crystal block 3D keyboard being typed in the background. The big ones are here, let's stretch our muscles. The main guns of the 3 warships and the Sky Sea Fortress are warming up. He twisted his wrists and neck, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. Dandin personally came out. Receive. Luke Heron's voice instantly rose to a 60-degree angle. I've been itching for this for ages. It'll be perfect to show these old bosses what real fear of power is. Following Luke Heron's command, the entire city of Tianhai seemed to come alive. Click, click, click. A deafening mechanical clanging sound echoed through the sky. Zhang Yi's alternate dimension, along with 2 other super battleships, slowly emerged from the massive dimensional gate, causing most of Tianhai City to darken. The sight of 3 super battleships hovering simultaneously was truly terrifying. They were practically 3 steel cities. 3 floating islands slowly rose into the air, eventually transforming into 3 fully armed super air fortresses, locking onto the incoming warships. Meanwhile, at the very top of the Tianhai Fortress in the Tianhai area of Tianhai City, the nuclear weapon system known as the Tianhai Cannon finally revealed its true form. It doesn't have the long, bulky barrel of a traditional cannon. There is only one giant sphere suspended on a base of a huge magnetic field. The sphere was over 50 meters in diameter, completely transparent and crimson, and seemed to contain a raging void within, with black and red lightning swirling wildly within it. Sky Cannon, Antimatter Annihilation Mode. Weapon System Warm-Up Complete. Brother, it's all up to you now. Luke Heron said excitedly. The target is the highest level of combat power of the 4 major races, and unlike the bombardment of 5 warships in the universe, this target is even more daunting. Because what they can mobilize is the most powerful force of the entire race, even including illusory forces like the power of faith. Even an ordinary person piloting an antimatter planet-destroying cannon would find it difficult to accurately lock onto a target. Therefore, only Zhang Yi personally drove it. Zhang Yi went directly to his flagship, the Dreamer, and personally went to the control tower. The Dreamer's artificial intelligence is extremely mature. Although Zhang Yi understands the complex operating principles, he only needs to do 2 things: lock and launch. Through the satellite system, it is possible to accurately see the scene thousands of kilometers away and pinpoint the location of dozens of approaching warships. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, and then, as the light distorted before his eyes, a giant pendulum began to swing. Second hand of time predicts the future within 5 seconds. Chapter 2732 Firepower, Supremacy 2. Theoretically speaking, the most suitable profession for Zhang Yi would definitely be a sniper. Although he liked to carry a sword around and slash around when he had nothing to do, he had never actually engaged in serious close combat. The reason why he rarely uses firearms now is simply because there are no guns suitable for him. After all, he can predict the future. So, he didn't need to make any predictions. He was aiming at the point where the target would appear in the future. Even warships moving at extremely high speeds are essentially stationary at fixed points in time. Time flowed through his left eye, and adjustments were made based on the flight speed of the antimatter planet destroyer, almost ignoring the problem of wind resistance, thus obtaining the best sniping position. Goodbye. Zhang Yi pressed the launch button himself. Puff. There was no earth-shattering noise, nor any dazzling light. A jet-black beam of light shot out from the crimson sphere, silently slicing through the sky. The blackness was so pure that it seemed to have swallowed up even the surrounding light. It was so thin that it was almost invisible to the naked eye at first glance. It quickly traversed the mountains and rivers of the motherland, heading straight for thousands of kilometers away. The lead ship, a Fong Wolf clan assault vessel, was incredibly fast, and its pilot was an inhuman with extraordinary reflexes. Attack detected. Take cover. Take cover immediately. However, it was all too late. When the black beam of light swept across the ship, the entire warship, along with the hundreds of elite wolf warriors inside, did not explode. Instead, it vanished into thin air as if a pencil drawing had been erased by an eraser. That's all. The scene was very strange, as if the warship had teleported, or as if someone had selected the high-speed flying warship with a mouse and then pressed delete. The speed at which it disappeared was too fast, even absurd. Antimatter annihilation. This is not an explosion. It is a complete annihilation on a material level. What the hell is that? The warship pilots following behind were so terrified that their eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. No energy shield feedback. No explosive shockwave. Ship number 3 is completely gone? If he hadn't seen that extremely thin ray of light coming from the distant other side with his own eyes, he would have even suspected that he was hallucinating. Scatter. Scatter quickly. Perform a serpentine maneuver. He possesses an extremely powerful beam weapon with incredibly high movement speed. Nogi shouted into the communication channel. Dozens of warships immediately scattered, attempting to evade the Grim Reaper's call with erratic high-speed maneuvers. However, they underestimated the power of the antimatter planet destroyer, especially since Zhang Yi was personally piloting it. Luke Heron's fire control radar is powered by a super-optical brain, with a computing speed exceeding the limits of biological systems by billions of times. Therefore, the system can accurately pinpoint the location of each warship. Run? Where to run? Luke Heron's fingers flew across the keyboard. Lock. Lock. Lock all. She was Zhang Yi's best lookout, providing him with the most accurate coordinates. You did a great job. While praising it, Zhang Yi waited for the antimatter planet-destroying cannon to recharge. Puff. 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 Streaks of black death rays intertwined in the air, forming a web of death. Each shot was fired approximately every 20 seconds, but when the attack landed, no warship could escape being annihilated. After all, this is equivalent to a Black Knight-level expert sniping them from an extremely long range. No matter how fast those distant warships were, no matter how skillful their maneuvers were, they could not escape the fate of destruction under the lock of the second hand of time. One warship after another vanished silently into the air, leaving no trace. The sky became empty, and that eerie disappearance was more chilling to the bone than an explosion that sent blood and flesh flying everywhere. Is this divine punishment? This silent disappearance made many spectators instinctively tighten their clothes, feeling extremely cold. Many people ask themselves, if they were the ones being targeted, could they withstand this attack? Even Indra, a time-based ability user, fell into a long silence. He had already used his 7 treasures golden steps against Zhang Yi 6 times, so if he were to fight Zhang Yi again, he felt that he would surely die. King Arthur, Morgan, and others shared this view. In the Temple of the Holy See in Europe, the newly appointed Pope George Wiggins, dressed in a white and gold robe, sat on the white steps, his pale gold eyes fixed on the light and shadow in the scene, a slight change in his expression. There was no one behind him, but a foreign language voice called could be heard. This human being supported by the dragons is quite interesting. Could he be the chosen one among the 6 humans? Wiggins frowned immediately and spoke to him in the same foreign language. Impossible. The chosen one, the Messiah, could very well be him. Only through the existence of can the suffering of the cycle of reincarnation be ended, and only then can the entire world, all races, and all life be led to transcendence. A soft laugh came from the void. Ha! But you've been using it for far too long. Wiggins' fair, jade-like hands hung down on his knees. His body was as perfect as a Michelangelo sculpture. His eyes were lowered, and he said softly, I feel it, it's coming soon. It will happen in this era, there's no mistake. The voice rang out again. By the way, the ruins are returning. Oh, really? Wiggins thought for a moment, then his gaze involuntarily drifted towards the direction of the universe, his expression shifting repeatedly, inexplicably complex. Has it been that long already? Every time Zhang Yi presses the launch button, a warship carrying powerful warriors disappears. It wasn't destruction, it wasn't falling, it wasn't exploding or cutting. It just disappeared. One after another, the level of the cult leader and the level of the chariot died meaninglessly. The once powerful figures who could roam freely in the world now died without even making a ripple. Life is so fragile, and the stronger the reality, the greater our sense of awe becomes. Because they will gradually discover how weak they are in the face of a higher being. When this raiding fleet, carrying the last hope of the 4 major races, finally broke through the fire net despite heavy casualties and reached the skies above Tianhai City. Of the original dozens of warships, only 16 remained. They were like stubborn and sorrowful birds, wobbling and crash-landing on the ruins on the edge of Tianhai City, stirring up clouds of dust. The hatch opened, and accompanied by suppressed roars, figures exuding a terrifying aura emerged from the smoke and dust. Chapter 2733: The Foundation of Ancient Civilization 1. Despite their disheveled state and heavy losses, this team that arrived in Tianhai City still possessed enough combat power to destroy a country. They knew that besieging Zhangyi wouldn't be easy, so even though so many powerful warriors died along the way, they could accept it. After all, this is the deterrent power of a Black Knight-level combat force. Even in the most ideal scenario, to design a trap to kill a Black Knight-level superhuman, it would still require at least one powerful White Knight, plus several bishop-level experts. The team is led by 4 people who are the supreme leaders of the 4 ancient civilizations and the most powerful White Knights on Earth. The Celestial Clan leader, Ming, had 6 wings on his back that, though charred black, still radiated a sacred golden light. His figure was ethereal, and his eyes were as cold and venomous as a viper's. When the leader of the ironclad tribe appeared, his towering ultimate mech shell, though weathered, still resembled an unshakable steel fortress. Langdell, the leader of the Fong Wolf clan, gleamed with the cold light of his twin swords, his single eye fixed on Zhangyi in midair, his killing intent almost solidifying into a tangible form. The Titan leader, Galiki, cast a towering shadow with his 100-meter-tall frame. He carried a strange, grotesque biological sack on his back, which was wriggling eerily, its contents unknown. His 8 arms gripped weapons tightly, his imposing presence was overwhelming. As the legendary 4th-generation Arc people, the craftsman race is not strongest in terms of their own combat power, but rather in their incredibly powerful biological weapons. It can be said that the divine refinement used by Zhang Yi, or rather, the boss, was quite rudimentary even among the Titans, purely in terms of technology. Beside them were 2 other top-tier experts whose strength also reached the Knight level. Munihi, a Titan priest with a sinister face, carries a mysterious totem pole. Curry, an armored berserker wielding a door-sized sword in each hand, his body belching crimson steam. The 6 White Knight-level Inhumans and the 4 tribal leaders are even closer to the Black Knight level in strength. With the backing of a nation's resources, they, like the gatekeepers of the underworld, could unleash a fighting force that rivals the Black Knights. Behind this group of 6, there stood more than 5 bishop-level superhuman powerhouses. The supernatural light emanating from them merged into one, causing the surrounding space to distort slightly. This is a terrifying force capable of sweeping away an entire region. They are several times stronger than all the high-end combat forces of the Huashu Kingdom combined. Seeing such a lineup, all the forces watching from all sides in the world gasped in shock.
Damn.
This lineup is practically cheating. King Arthur was pale. 6 knights, more than 5 bishops. Is this the last vestige of the ancient civilization? Even if Zhang Yi is strong, can he stop 6 knight-level opponents? With his defensive prowess, he can certainly withstand a head-on attack, but winning will definitely be difficult. Not to mention those 5 bishop-level experts. If even one of them manages to slip through and enter Tianhai City, it will be a massacre. The kingdom of Huashu is finished. Even 2 fists can't fight 4. However, they were faced with a menacing enemy formation that was capable of overturning the entire world. Zhang Yi stood in the command room of the Dreamer, watching the enemy forces approach. His gaze remained calm, even carrying a hint of expectation. If he absorbs the essence of all 6 night-level superhumans, he will be one step closer to the legendary Queen level. Under normal circumstances, one might not have the opportunity to obtain even one copy of such a high-level source material for many years. Now, things are fine. The other party has come to him willingly, and he can rightfully accept it. Lucky. Is this all you have? Is this all the chips you have? Zhang Yi said calmly. The top talents of the 4 ethnic groups gathered in Tianhai City, maintaining a sufficiently large distance from Zhang Yi. After all, they felt they understood Zhang Yi's abilities very well. Dimensional string decomposition is too swift in killing lower-level aliens, and Senlua Wanxiang can ignore the energy attacks of almost all aliens weaker than him. Therefore, the human wave tactics employed by subordinates are extremely difficult to be effective against Zhang Yi. These 5 bishop-level superhumans will not participate in the battle against Zhang Yi. The real successors are, of course, 6 knights of equal strength. This guy was able to kill the entire expeditionary force. His strength is definitely greater than we anticipated. Don't be complacent. Galiki gave everyone a warning. Naruto's deep voice came. Since there are many of us, let's use the simplest and most rudimentary method. Concentrate all our strength in one place and penetrate his myriad forms. All so-called absolute defenses are meaningless in the face of absolute power. Jian Shou gazed at the void before him, then glanced at the Tower of Origin in the center of Tianhai City. Let's break through this defensive force field first. Let's concentrate all our strength and tear open a temporary gap. That's still something we can do. They arrived in a rage, but instead of acting rashly, they calmly began to devise tactics. They weren't worried about reinforcements, because in the entire Huashu kingdom, there was only 1.5 people who truly qualified to be considered their adversaries. Zhang Yi counts as 1, and Ho Tu counts as half. Seeing that the other party had arrived in Tianhai City, Zhang Yi knew that he could no longer produce the antimatter planet destroyer. After all, with a 20-second charging time and such close proximity, it's almost impossible to kill a night-level powerhouse in one strike. Therefore, he directly activated the Formless Realm and appeared opposite the 4 powerful clans. They've all come, that's good. It saves us from having to kill them one by one. It's not easy to rush to our deaths like that. Zhang Yi's eyes remained lowered, a faint sneer on his face, though his hands were already hanging naturally at his sides, poised to deliver a fatal blow at any moment. However, he remained unhurried. His style of doing things has always been to do the opposite. Besides, they are in a hurry right now. The 4 men, including Jian Shou and Galiki, exchanged glances, knowing that time could not be wasted and that neither side had any possibility of negotiation. However, Zhang Yi's composure surprised them somewhat. What gives Zhang Yi such confidence? Galiki's voice came from afar. Chaos, your crimes are heinous and you have betrayed your faith. But today, if you are willing to commit suicide, we are willing to preserve the flame of your Huashu kingdom and spare your entire clan. As he spoke, the leaders were all watching Zhang Yi's expression, trying to see if he really had the confidence or was just putting on a brave face. Zhang Yi tilted his head, looked at them with an expression as if they were idiots, and a mocking smile appeared on his lips. You guys are idiots? A murderous aura suddenly arose. Go. Break through their barriers. With a roar, Galiki unleashed a powerful attack simultaneously from 6 night-level experts and over 5 bishop-level superhumans, along with their strongest warships, concentrating their attacks on a single point above Tianhai City, attempting to forcibly tear open a rift. Chapter 2730, For the Foundation of Ancient Civilization 2. The moment they stepped out, Zhang Yi cautiously and instinctively took a half-step back, his Taishu bathrobe covering his entire body, his eyes fixed on all the enemies before him. Going out means having to expose some of their abilities, and Zhang Yi needs to observe what those abilities actually are. The 3 types of energy that need to be guarded against most are time, space, and rules. These are the 3 types of energy that are most likely to allow the weak to overcome the strong and create miracles. The Celestial clan let out a sigh, and then the sky changed. The wind and clouds darkened, and a huge crack appeared. The black clouds spread out in layers, like a skylight, and among the clouds, a large number of atmospheric creatures could be vaguely seen moving. A beam of light shone upon his body, the familiar light of faith, making his aura even more magnificent and his radiance even more sacred. With the ancient faith empowering me, even if I suffer a backlash in the future, I will annihilate the powerful enemy today and bring a bright future to my people. Ming muttered these words to himself. He knew the dangers of faith, but right now, even if it meant sacrificing himself, he had to get rid of Zhang Yi. Otherwise, the celestial race will truly be doomed. After gaining a large amount of energy, he faced the void of the sky and sea, which was more than 10 kilometers away, and gently touched it with his transparent finger. Vacuum wave. Zhang Yi saw nothing, but the deathly mirror detected the energy attack and automatically generated energy modules to defend against it. Boom. The defensive field trembled slightly. Liu Karen, stationed at the Dreamer's command center, detected the type of attack using instruments and quickly made an analysis. Vacuum waves create a super vacuum field, generating a huge pressure difference that destroys the target. The attack is invisible, yet incredibly powerful. The attack from Jian Shou followed closely behind. The Ironclad clan's fighting style was simple and brutal. Wearing heavy armor, he actually merged with his flagship. That powerful, black warship, with its bizarre and twisted body, transformed into a giant mechanical monster resembling a fortress on the earth. It has sharp edges and corners, but with multiple huge energy cannons, making it look like a large howitzer. The cannon was aimed at Tenkai, and Naruto's attack arrived in an instant. Boom! An incredibly pure energy attack, in the form of a beam, instantly pierced through tens of kilometers before exploding violently within the defensive field. The attack of Langdell, the leader of the Fong Wolf clan and the One-Eyed King, was even simpler. He swung his curved blade and unleashed a massive crescent-shaped slash from a great distance. He clearly held back his abilities and did not use his true abilities. The Titan warrior Gucci swung his warhammer and slammed it down into the void, distorting space and sending shockwaves that struck the same spatial node on the outer defensive field of the Heavenly Sea. Others came out one after another, and although the full picture of the situation was not revealed, some key information could still be obtained. Brother Zhang Yi, we can't hold them off any longer, Liu Karen said to Zhang Yi with a serious expression. The defensive field has its limits, of course, since it also needs to face attacks from multiple other battlefields at the same time. Gu Qi and his team's tactical intentions were very clear, not to destroy the entire defensive field, but to storm into Tianhai and place the battlefield where Zhang Yi cared most. It's all right, let them try to break in, Zhang Yi said calmly. But if we let them in, even the upgraded Tenkai will suffer heavy losses, Liu Karen said with some reluctance. After all, Tenkai had been rebuilt, and most of its buildings were borrowed from the Sand Raiders' civilization. They were high-end. If it's damaged, repairing it will require a huge amount of materials. Moreover, most of the Tenkai talents will likely be affected and killed. Zhang Yi silently took out the Eternal Judgment Sword, then covered it with divine refinement, standing like a swordsman in front of the opponent's attack point. We will kill every one of them who comes. We won't let anyone in. Zhang Yi's expression remained extremely calm. Everything that was happening was entirely within his calculations. The 6 months he spent back on Earth were enough for him to mentally rehearse countless times, so he remained completely calm. However, there are indeed too many of them. Let's call some more helpers. He waved his hand, and the void behind him suddenly cracked open. 13 jet-black metal coffins slowly emerged from the void, carrying with them a chilling and murderous aura from the ancient starry sky. Awaken, Valkyries of the Ninja Kingdom. Let these remnants of the old era see what the weapons of war of the new era are. As the coffin lid slid off, 13 armed battle maidens dressed in black bodysuits and skirts, wielding various heavy sci-fi weapons, slowly emerged. Their skin had a cold, metallic sheen, and their eyes shone with a red fighting light, radiating a chilling, pure mechanical killing intent. This is a powerful weapon that Zhang Yi brought back from Mars. Each full recovery requires astronomical amounts of energy. But at this moment, it's worth expending any amount of energy for this battle. When Zhang Yi first met them, he was in a very sorry state because he had not yet achieved his evolution and could only choose to run away. Zhang Yi knew better than anyone how strong they were. At the same time, the ground roared as more than 3,000 sand-sweeping robots burst forth from the earth. Although their individual combat capabilities are comparable to tanks, with the support of swarm algorithms, they form an undeniable torrent of steel, capable of holding back any enemy below the cult level. Xian, Xian. Zhang Yi called out in his mind. I'm here, brother. Yang Xinxin's voice remained as calm as ice, as if the predicament before her was a complex math problem. You will be in charge of commanding the entire battle. The enemy will also follow your instructions in the battle. Good. Before Yang Xinxin's holographic glasses, countless data streams were rapidly operating, constructing thousands of battlefield models. We need to use our trump cards to launch an asymmetrical attack with a 100% win rate. The probability of losing 10% is as high as 95%. Very good. I am very satisfied with this answer. Zhang Yi smiled, his left finger twitching slightly, his eyes fixed on the defensive field that was about to be breached. The terrifying energy concentrated in one place formed an incredibly powerful shockwave outside the defensive field, like a vicious electric drill desperately trying to break through the barrier. Zhang Yi knew that it was only a matter of time before the defensive field was breached. Battlefield Division order issued. Yang Xinxin's voice rang in Zhang Yi's mind, clear and decisive. Brother, those 4 leaders are yours. Although it will be difficult, I believe you are confident of a complete victory. They can't help you separate them. After all, their primary target is definitely you.
Chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.